So, hey guys, this is Lance with rainbowguysdiy. We are going to run some drip tubing to our blueberry bushes. This one I think you can see. I don't think you can see that one in screen, but that's fine. We're not going to work on that. We've got our 1/4 inch right behind me. I've got my toolkit of goodies. This is invaluable because there are a ton of different little things that go with drip tubing. I'll block my face for a minute. You're probably grateful. There's just so many different parts that go to this. You need something to keep them organized, otherwise they're just going to go everywhere. The first step is to punch a hole in your main line. So we just punch in. This is a little tool. I think it's like $1 maybe at Home Depot. I'm sure Lowe's carries them as well, or whatever you have that's close by. Go down the sprinkler aisle. There is a whole section of stuff. All right, we have successful puncture. So this is the actual piece I need. Don't know if you can focus in on that.
It's focused.
Okay. It's just a juncture. I'm gonna use this with the 1/4 inch tubing, which is right in front of me. So you're just gonna take the plug. And this is just, I think it's called a juncture plug. I don't know if you can actually see a little pinpoint of light going through that lets you know it's a tube. This is the same 1/4 inch tubing we got last year. And as I recall, it was extremely difficult to work with. It's actually really rigid. And you just want to get it in as far as you can. If you don't want to murder your fingers, there's an easier way to do this, I assure you. You get a heat gun. I'm sure you could even use a hair dryer, just let it warm up a bit. But you just want to not blow on your hand because it hurts. Learned that lesson a few times last year. But just let it warm up a little bit. Eventually you'll kind of start seeing it darken up, and there we go. The one thing with doing this is you are heating up plastic. So if you let it go for too long, it's actually going to melt the plastic.
That's bad.
Is very, very bad. So you do want to be mindful of how long it's going, what the state of the tube looks like. And I think I'm there. See, that goes in a whole lot easier. And then it's all set, and it cools down in a moment, so you cannot really pull it out. Like, I'm pulling on it really hard, and it will not come out now. So you take this end.
Fish it in from the other side.
Oh, you're smart. Yes, fish it in from where you want to actually have it. All right, so we fished it in from the side that it's going to, and you're just gonna come up, approach like that, wait for it to snap in, and it's in. It really is that simple. And then you're going to follow the tube from where it comes out and give yourself a little bit of leeway. Don't make it so tight that it's a straight line, because then there's no give with the expansion and contraction of cold water going through on a hot day.
Or room for repair.
And room for repair. That's a very good point. These do break.
Even the expensive stuff will break over time.
Even the expensive stuff breaks over time.
And ideally, had we thought about this in advance, we would have run the drip tubing up through the bottom of the pot. There's the pot. So would have run it down the side and then up through the bottom of the pot so that it's hidden.
So this stuff is super easy to cut. Even the 1/2 inch stuff, the brown and the black poly that goes everywhere else in the garden. This is actually, I think, the only place we're going to be using 1/4 inch tubing at the moment that we've planned on. Scissors, household kitchen scissors are absolutely fine. Just cut. I left myself about 2 feet here. It's probably maybe 16 inches, not even that probably. So I have a good amount of leeway. I'm going to use an emitter.
I was thinking 2 for the first year.
Oh, that's probably a good idea.
So another great thing with this system is if right now we put 2 emitters on, it's easy to cut one off later and change. It's easy to change. You just cut the tubing, put in a barbed T or a barbed cross, or a goof plug, which is a solid plug.
For when you make a goof.
Yes, they were super creative in naming those. That's the official name, is a goof plug.
That is the actual trade name of the plug. So I'm using a T junction, so named because it is a T. Yep, perfect, just like that. And then I'm just gonna get two short little length. We're gonna put two emitters on here. These are half-gallon emitters. They're color-coded, or at least this particular brand is, the ones available at Home Depot in the sprinkler aisle. It's store brand.
Basically.
If you can't find whatever, store-bought is fine. So these are the brown, these are half-gallon and hour emitters. And they go on, I wonder if they actually go on easier than the plugs. Oh my god, they do. That was so easy. I'm an easily impressed person, clearly.
So by putting two on, this pot is going to get one full gallon every hour that the sprinkler system is running.
So I just held down the main line here. Oh no, I broke one off. So you just want to stake each head down, or each emitter, where you need the water. These are brand new shrubs. They are not even producing yet, so they need the water pretty much right up against the main stem. There we go. You can see the tube here. I'm okay with that. I know that the drip is there, so I'm going to see it no matter how well it's hidden. If you are super picky about this, like we were saying earlier, run it up before you even get the pots planted, like when they're still empty, when there's no dirt in them. Run it up from the bottom.
Through the drainage hole.
Through the drainage hole. If you don't have a drainage hole in the container, first of all, don't use it. Make drainage. I'll have a video on that coming soon, hopefully. Run it up through the top and give yourself even more room to wiggle than you would have in general. Like I gave myself about 1.5 inches to 2 inches on each cut for wiggle room. If I was doing that, I would give myself like an extra 6 inches just to play with on top of what I'm already playing with. Last year we tried this with a kit that we got on a large internet retailer. I don't like to speak negatively, and it wasn't that retailer's fault, and I don't remember the brand that we got, so I can't say what brand it was, and it was awful. It was so bad. I think a lot of it was we didn't know what we were doing. It was hard to use. They didn't send the right pieces. They sent out sprinklers basically. I think I actually have a few of the heads that they actually will spray out like this rather than drip, and you can adjust by twisting. I do have a few left in the garden, and they're helpful for some things. I mean, they definitely have an application. It just wasn't what we were planting. So there you have it. So you can hear the water coming. So far there's no leaks, and we have it spitting out, and it is actually dripping. Is it coming out of both? Yep, it is coming out of both. You can see here, follow the line all the way up around the trellis. And you can see where we hooked in on the main line, and there's no leak over here. So in this bed, we already have the tube established. The irrigation is already going. You can actually see it dripping right here. You'll notice that there are two different types of tube in here. Well, they're both 1/2 inch poly tubing. The brown has emitters built in every 18 inches. You can get it available. I know I've seen 12. I think I've seen 16. 18 is what we found in store, so that's what we got. The black is just solid tubing. It's basically just straight irrigation line. We have it running from the spigot here over to where you can't see, goes over the trellis to the other side. And you can actually plug in with little junctions and make offshoots going into other areas, or if you have a plant that needs a specific dedicated emitter, you can plug in on here. The brown, you can do that as well. The black is significantly less expensive for obvious reasons. The brown is really good if you are planting a lot, especially if you're planting a lot of one thing. This box is going to have sweet potatoes in it eventually, and peas at the other end, which they may get their own emitter. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how they do. The brown is good, especially if you have a lot to do. Like we have basically 8 of these boxes. The other 7, one is on the other end that you can't see, and then you've probably seen pictures on our Instagram of the other ones. They're long, but they're basically just this box, shallower, and just all in a row. So if you have a lot that you need to irrigate all at once without running individual lines, the brown is definitely great. If you have big plants, or if they're spaced out in any way other than 18 inches, you want to use a black line with emitters going to each one. That can get a little bit more expensive because then you have to get all the extra parts, the 1/4 inch tubing, you have to get the emitters themselves and a few other tools. But the brown is really great if you are just getting water to a huge area and you're not too picky about where that water goes.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also be sure to follow us on Instagram at rainbowguysdiy. See you next time.